Where's my stash though? The Benteng. The drunken mistake's turbocharged motors churn through the open water, leaving a trail of frothy sea behind you. The Aberdeen docks quickly recede into the distance, and Jomo powers you steadily deeper into international waters. In the back of the boat, Chu stands alone, one hand cupped over her ear, shouting into her comlink. You can't make out what she's saying over the roar of the drunken mistake's engines, but from the expression on her face, it isn't going well. Jomo throttles down the engines, nervously staring into the water just beyond the speedboat's hull. You soon discover why, sea mines. With careful precision, the pirate steers the nimble craft around him, aided only by his skill and a handful of Indonesian curses. As Jomo pilots you through the minefield, a jagged shape in the distance begins to grow larger. It's huge, a slab-like ship surrounded by a number of smaller vessels. Grinning. The pirates. The pirate? Wait, the text didn't fit? You... Oh man, they have close-in weapon systems. On a pirate ship. You step onto the converted barge with unsteady legs. The deck rocks with the rolling motion of the waves, and you can hear the slap of water against the hull below your feet. The air here is permeated with the smells of engine oil and diesel fumes, all intermixed with the sweat of sailors and the sweet aroma of roasting amberjack. Welcome aboard the Benteng, the jewel of the Loho Jawa fleet. He flashes you a brilliant smile. You'll be safe here, safer than you were in the impound yard in Hioi or at your mother's teat. Nothing enters these waters without Captain Utama's permission. Hey, did we have Captain Utama's permission? Hey, if you... Crate and her people don't need to enter the water to hurt us. They have aircraft and drones at their disposal. I mean, we have anti-air weapons. Oh-ho! And this worries you. Take it from me, SCKC. It shouldn't. Jomo swings his arms out in a grand sweeping gesture. Look around you. See for yourself. Oh, nice! In the distance, a cluster of enormous guns rise above the Benteng's deck. Heavy artillery, coupled with a group of old model Ares close weapon in systems. It's supposed to be CIWS, close-in weapon systems. CWIS is not a thing. Millions of new yen worth of restricted military hardware, all mounted into a creaking barge with the resale value of a mid-range sedan. The seabed beneath your feet is littered with the carcasses of countless drones and aircraft. He pumps his arms excitedly, mimicking the action of a cannon firing on an airborne target. They all met their doom to the roar of the Benteng's mighty guns. Sheets of flying lead tore wings from fuselages, ripped through cockpits, shredded parachutes to tattered rags. And the waters that she protects are no safer for our enemies. Envision the seabed far beneath your feet. He sweeps his arm low towards the waves on the far horizon. New life springs from the bones of patrol craft, coral of 1,000 hues, sprouting like wheat from bloated bodies of those fools who have dared to trespass here. Our minds make short work of those who approach by sea. An elfish crewman steps forward and claps a hand onto the orc's shoulder. His voice comes out in a breathy rumble. Jomo speaks the truth, Shadowrunner. Nothing can approach this ship and live. Ah, I don't doubt it. That's some impressive hardware you've got over here. Over there. His smile broadens. Perceptive, I like that. Captain Utama is waiting for you below decks. In your place, I would not keep her waiting long. Jomo favors the pirate with a nod. Ting... Tug? T-E-U-G... Tog? Tug? Tug speaks the truth, friends. Captain Utama is a delightful woman, possessed of many virtues, but patience is not one of them. We should be on our way. What about my crew? They will wait for you in that rusted hulk that you call a home. The one that the corporate people towed here. He jerks a thumb over his shoulder. It's over there. You towed my boat here? Okay, that doesn't make any sense. First of all, how did you get the boat out of the impound yard? Secondly, you got them past the mines. You got my giant boat past the mines. The big Texas is here, but she isn't seaworthy. How did you... Exactly. I made some calls. Chu rubs her temples, squinting. She looks exhausted. Amazing how much freight you can move with a tugboat and a couple of industrial lifting airframes. Yeah, no, come on. This is ridiculous. This is like the game designers didn't want to make a new home base for us. So they just, in order to recycle the home base, so they don't have to make any new artwork for it, they make up this ridiculous story. It must be nice being able to call in favors from a mega corp on a whim. It didn't happen on a whim, believe me. My relationship with corporate is beyond strained at the moment. You can talk with your friends later. Now go to Utama and be quick about it. I tell you this for your own good. He's right. Wait for me at the big Texas. We'll catch up after I'm done with the tour. As you say, my friend. He taps his cigarette out of the pack in his breast pocket. I shall inspect the big Texas and see if anything was damaged during transit. Jomo gives you a nod. Chu, SCKC, you and me. We have a captain to meet. Alright. Hey, is my stash here? I need one more ranged weapon to use the giant gun, right? I do have enough points. Meat? Can I not... Alright, I guess I can do it later. Hey, wait a minute. Why is her truck here? Wait. The cops? You brought the cops' trucks here? Wild. Nice boat, you guys. She's huge, alright. I mean, yes. I guess we shouldn't be surprised that she's huge since she's the pirate captain. Captain Utama. A weathered troll with a relaxed posture and a commanding presence dominates the cabin. Her face is serious, but her dual-colored eyes glint with curiosity as she runs them over you. It is my honor to introduce you to Captain Utama, our most gracious and beloved host, a benevolent host. Jomo bows deeply. My captain, I thank you for your generous hospitality. I remain your humble servant and offer my deepest respect. She steps forward and places a gnarled hand on Jomo's shoulder. Straighten your damn back, Jomo. Pay your respects if you must, but I have no use for men who bow and scrape. Jomo's just overly extravagant. Don't worry about him. Jomo's back snaps straight, and he hurriedly retreats to his original position. His smile remains as relaxed as ever, but you can't help but notice the bead of perspiration that traces its way down his forehead. The captain shifts her gaze to you, studying your face through eyes the color of dirty ice. A smile slowly creeps across her face, twisting the scar across her lips into a second grin. As for you, Shadowrunner, you are welcome aboard the Benteng. Mind my rules and you may stay here for as long as you wish. Ah, no offense, but you're a pirate. Why are you being so generous with us? Why are you being so generous with us? Her lips spread into a toothy smile. Money, why else? I didn't grant you asylum out of the goodness of my heart. Oh, who's paying? I'm not paying, right? Savor this moment, SCKZ. You're looking at the end result of me calling in the very last of my favors with corporate. The scarred troll's smile broadens. My hospitality is not given, Shadowrunner, it is rented. Now, before you get settled in, there is a small matter that we must discuss. Alright, I'm listening. She rests her hands on her hips. This is my ship. Your friend here has paid your passage, yes. But if you prove to be a disruptive presence on this vessel, I would not hesitate to have you tossed overboard. Unless you relish the idea of swimming with awakened sharks and active minds, you will mind your manners during your stay. Don't worry, I'll stay out of your sailor's hair. I certainly hope so. You wouldn't be the first guest that I've had to put over the side. All of the splashing, the screaming, it's quite distracting to the men working on deck. They won't make a peep, Captain Utama, I promise. This is gonna be home for the foreseeable future, as you can see. We've got nowhere else to go, and I'm fresh out of strings to pull. We get Mr. Hammer something that they can use, something irrefutable, or we resign ourselves to life on the open sea. Yeah, I don't mind life on the open sea. I've always wanted to be a pirate. I have always wanted to be a pirate. You're no pirate boy, you're a passenger, a lost soul with nowhere else to run. Hey, I can do things. You will keep your nose to yourself while you remain on board, and you will not fraternize with my crew. The last thing they need is a distraction. Alright, Captain. Keep your head in the game, Mr. Casey. We've still got work to do, and we're gonna start with Lamb's PDA. Meet me at my command trailer, we're gonna crack that thing, and we're gonna find some answers. Alright. Hey, can I talk to it? I can talk. Hey, Captain. The captain's wheelhouse is surprisingly warm, despite its coldly utilitarian interior. Sounds of the sea breeze outside roll over the cabin, and a soft whistle hums through the cluttered room. You find Utama standing near a makeshift wet bar. Crates and tool chests loaded full of liquor bottles, all piled into a coffee table that sags under their weight. The captain swirls a clear yellow-tinted liquid around the interior of a thick glass. You watch her grab a pinch of what looks like salt from a small open dish, then carefully sprinkle it into the cup. Her voice is hard when she addresses you, but her eyes remain locked on the drink, which she continues to swish around and around in ever-tightening circles. Getting acquainted with the Benteng, are we? She holds the glass up to her nose and inhales. Satisfied, she takes a sip. Her eyes flash towards you. Good, I hate drinking alone. Didn't you just say not to fraternize? Are you inviting me for a drink? You just told me not to fraternize. She motions towards the wet bar with her elbow. Water? I'll have what you're having. This sounds way too dangerous, to be honest. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'll have what you're having. A bemused grin graces the captain's scarred face. Oh, are you sure? No questions asked? Yeah, sure. Sure, let's lay it on me. Utama swirls the liquid inside the glass, then tilts it your way. Have at it. Thanks. I'm just gonna take a sip. The room temperature liquid is thicker than you'd expected, with a pleasant fruity flavor. There's an unexpected sweetness to it, but not the heavy, sickly kind of sweet that accompanies a lot of mixed drinks. In fact, you can't detect any bite to the liquid at all. It appears to be entirely alcohol-free. It's entirely alcohol-free? Very nice, freshly pressed I'm assuming. Judging by the color and viscosity, I guess this was sourced from a farming region inside Hong Kong. That isn't alcohol. It's fruit juice? She's drinking fruit juice? Utama claps a hand on your shoulder. You're correct, of course. Guava juice. Freshly pressed from fruit grown in the Yuen Long district. I respect the man who knows his fruit. Extravagances such as this serve us well on the open sea. Scurvy is no joke after all. It's fruit juice. She takes a slow sip of her drink. With a smack of her lips, she tilts her head towards you and stares at you through dual-colored eyes. So what brings you here? Something on your mind, Shadowrunner? I notice a small saucer of powder over on the wet bar. What is it? Utama sniffs loudly through her nose, studies you for a moment before replying. What do you think it is? Salt? She wrinkles her nose in disgust. This look like a nightclub to you? We don't garnish our drinks with sugar or salt out here. There's no better way of identifying a shitty drink than the size of the crab pile that's buried under. She rubs a hand along the back of her neck. Look, I've spent the better part of my life on the open ocean. They say that when you first start sailing, you have to earn your sea legs, otherwise the rolling sickness will get you. I never did that, never had to. I had my sea legs from the first time I ever set foot on a boat. Didn't realize that it could catch up to you though. Seems that as I get older, my stomach rolls with the waves more and more. She points towards the powder in the saucer. It's an anti-emetic, keeps me from turning green on the job. You ever find yourself in need of some, you help yourself to my stash, but don't overdo it. A little goes a long way. What's it like to be a female pirate? That... this is such a bad question. Such a bad question. You know what, I wouldn't let the game do it. Got its ups, got its downs. Many sailing men, captain and crew alike, view female seafarers with a critical eye. We're always at a disadvantage. The glare has even landed on me from time to time. Never mind the fact that I'm one of the best damn sea captains ever to grace the ports of this sorry planet. I have to make a display of my power before I'm assumed to have it. On the other hand, and in that same vein, we are often underestimated. This can work to our advantage. I'll never demean myself to gain the upper hand, but I will use a man's idiocy against him to my own benefit. There's no shame in that. The captain flicks a piece of lint off her shirt. At the end of the day, I wouldn't change things. It's a good life and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Oh, I gotta go. Or at least the conversations are short. She told me not to fraternize. Racks of medical supplies and cybernetic components line the walls of this room. Across from the doorway, heavy-duty instruments are crammed together to conserve as much space as possible. Many of them look neglected, with a fine layer of dust and grime coating every raised surface. Other implements have clearly seen much regular use, that they appear polished from all the handling. Huh. A man stands towards the left side of the room. He wears a fitted, high-collared coat that looks like it gives him a lot of movement room and flexibility in his arms. A virtual retinal display hangs over his right eye, highlighting it in yellow. He greets you with a nod and a quick smile. Welcome. He studies your face. You're new around here, I take it. I mean... I wonder, like... Are we ever gonna get, like, heads-up displays? Because, like, there was Google Glass, but that didn't go very far. I mean, there's, like, augmented reality goggles, but they're kind of, like, too big. Are they always gonna be just kind of weird and awkward? Without waiting for an answer, he continues. The name's Andre, and I'm in the wear business. I've got a large inventory if you're interested in buying. I'm more interested in answers. You have a minute? Andre's eyes narrow. He takes a half step back, a cautious look on his face. Yes? What kind of answers? Who are you? Probably not who you think I am. I'm a Shadowrunner, interested in the Benteng's crew, that's all. The man visibly relaxes. He breathes out through his mouth and finishes the gesture with a smile. Sorry about that. Those who roll with pirates often have long histories of their own. As a runner, I'm sure you're all too familiar with that fact. I meant no offense. That sounds like you're carrying baggage, Andre. I know what that's like. He runs a hand behind his neck, carefully considering his next words. Slowly he responds, yeah, I suppose that if you're here, you would. It isn't a terribly exciting story. Let's just say that I've got a few creditors after my ass and leave it at that. What are you making money here? Can you pay them back? I've got nothing but time, man. If you want to talk about it, I'd be happy to listen. Alright, let's listen to it. Alright, why not? The Joho Loa appear to be sold on the value of you Shadowrunners. They must have information that I don't, but if they trust you, then I suppose that's all I need. He grabs his bearded chin and his eyes sink to the floor in thought. Well, where to begin? I was a physician back in Russia, worked in a trauma ward. It was an emotionally grueling profession, one thing led to another, and it wasn't long before I found myself hooked on BTL chips. Oh, real? That's where the debt comes in, a lot of debt. So much that there was no way I could pay it all back in my lifetime. Given my options, I decided that a do-over was in order, so I left my old life behind. Before we continue, we are on an Indonesian pirate boat. So while we were in Hong Kong, the conceit was that we were speaking Cantonese the whole time. But we are now on an Indonesian pirate boat, and they shouldn't be speaking Cantonese. They should be speaking Indonesian. And we don't know Indonesian. Anyway, continuing. Well, I tried to. At any rate, it seemed that no matter where I went, my creditors were always right on my tail, all the way up until I fled to Indonesia. Yeah, we're... He smiles weakly. There, I met the glorious Captain Utama and her sailors. The rest is history. There's no way that this bunch let you on board for free. What was the catch? You're a sharp one. Nothing comes free, eh? The price of my asylum here was 10 years of indentured service as the Benteng's onboard cyber surgeon. At the time I thought the deal manageable, but my continuing habit has since driven those 10 years of service up to 30. Can you stop? Can you stop being addicted to BTLs? Truth is, I may die before I ever repay the captain, but let me tell you, indentured service among the Loho Jowa beats the hell out of being a debtor back in the motherland. He looks contentedly around the medical bay. I've got more here than I could ever have hoped for in my own life. And how are you getting along with the pirates? I've gotten used to them, and they've gotten used to me. They can be real slave drivers at times, but at their core they're decent people. They may have laid claim to me for the rest of my natural life, but at least they won't work a man to death, he chuckles. Well, not quickly anyway. For better or worse, it sounds like things worked out. You're right, and for that I'm grateful. He snaps out of his nostalgia and stands up straight. His tone becomes businesslike again. Anyway, is there something that I can get you while you're here? No. This guy is like a slave. So he had debtors back in Russia, he ran away from the debtors, and now he's in debt to the pirates. And to pay off this debt, he has to be the ship's surgeon. This guy... I mean, he's basically a slave.